refs can't find it, and as best as we can tell, law enforcement can't find it. So I accept the prevailing view.
In this video, we're going to break down real stories from guys who've been on the court or behind the scenes. Players, refs, and insiders who claim the league is tilted. From big market teams supposedly getting all the calls, to entire playoff series feeling like they've been decided before the ball even went up. We're covering it all. And once you hear these stories, you'll never watch a game the same way again. Trust me on that. For decades, going back to like the Magic Bird era, dudes have been whispering that the NBA is more about money and storylines than straight up hoops. But instead of jumping on random fan theories, today we got actual receipts from people in the middle of the action. It's one thing for a fan on Twitter to say, "We got robbed by the refs," but it's a whole different level when a ref himself or an NBA All-Star is out here saying, "Man, we pretty much had no shot unless we beat the other team by 15, and we'll break down exactly what he meant.
They would show you plays and say, this was a foul that was missed, and these three referees missed this play. Make sure you don't let this happen tonight. Make sure you call this when this happens.
So does the NBA really tell refs to give superstar calls to certain players? Was that 2012 Game 7 legit? Or was it rigged so LeBron and the Heat could move on?
Every season is like a movie, and I'm like living in it. Like I'm the star in the movie. Like it feels dope as shit. I'm feeling like Batman. I feel like Batman, Black Panther, all them, not all of them, every single like.
It's also a topic of conversation to talk about the serious amount of money that comes in when a playoff series goes 6 or 7 games instead of 4 or 5. From Tim Donaghy's gambling scandal to what players are saying about how they go into games so the game isn't decided by the refs. We're about to get into it all.
So prior to the scandal breaking, he was actually seen as a pretty good ref. Tim Donaghy was not only just betting on the games, but he was also refereeing games in which he had a stake in the outcome.
Starting off with the man who had all the power, Tim Donaghy. He's the ex-NBA ref who got caught betting on games he officiated. That alone is crazy enough. But the real bombshell is him saying that the league straight up encourages refs to favor certain players and certain teams to keep things profitable.
I was not actually in these games, fixing the games and you know, throwing calls to win a bet.
You expect us to believe that you did nothing.
Imagine your supervisor is telling you, "Don't call so many fouls on Jordan. He's the ticket seller." That's basically what Donaghy claimed was happening behind closed doors. Tim Donaghy shared an instance where he called a foul on Michael Jordan's famous spin move in a Bulls game. Phil Jackson apparently lost his mind. And Donaghy says that other refs pulled him aside and were like, "Bro, you do not make that call on Michael Jordan."
Phil Jackson comes flying off the bench and he starts giving me shit. And I said, "Wait a second, Phil. You know as well as I do, that's the spin move that they're telling us to call." And he said, "They may want that play called, but they certainly don't want it called on him." And he pointed at Jordan, who walked by and just stared at me.
According to Tim Donaghy, that type of special treatment applied to stars like Kobe, LeBron, or whoever was the face of the league at the time. Now, Tim Donaghy ended up with a prison sentence for the gambling side of this. Some people says that kills his credibility. Understood. Others point out that because he was literally in the middle of it, he knew the inside of how the league operated. He kept insisting entire playoff series were swayed for bigger markets and higher ratings. And honestly, once you hear and see that, when looking at our league today, it's hard to unsee. You ever notice how certain high-profile playoff series always seem to go down to Game 7s? Is that just the hype of the big game competition, or is somebody behind the scenes pulling strings? An NBA player once said, "We gotta win by 15 just to win by 1.
I tell young dudes the same thing, like, yo, we got to win by 15 and win by 1. And I understand it. So it's like, so we get in this game, you know how much money the NBA is going to lose.
Which means, if you're not blowing the other team out, the refs can tip just enough calls the other way to keep things close, or even flip the outcome.